Hey guys, welcome to the H channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about my thoughts and interpretations of Joker. So this video is not a review, it's just about my thoughts, my interpretations about the film and what was the final joke, or what my interpretation of what the final joke was. And stick around, have a listen to what my thoughts are, my interpretations and my explanations, and let me know what you think, and if you agree or disagree, or if you've got different thoughts or interpretations, drop them below on the comment section and let me know. Okay guys, first thing is, if you can't tell by the title of this video, in this video there will be heavy spoilers of the movie, so just bear that in mind. So if you haven't seen the film yet, or you don't mind spoilers, then just please bear that in mind. Okay, so I've seen Joker twice now. I think the first time I kind of like, when I watched it, I took it as it was, but I was asking lots of questions, and I was still pondering on what the actual movie meant, because on first viewing I think I did miss quite a lot of things. I did enjoy it though as a cinematic experience. I loved the way it looked, I loved the musical score, I loved the performances in this film, and I really loved it. So I went back to watch it a second viewing, and I think the second viewing it did, I was looking around more, and after that I think it did clear some things up that maybe I wasn't 100% sure when I watched it the first time. So I think if you've not watched it at least twice, I think if you just watched it once, I think it is much more harder to interpret the film just on the first viewing. So overall, the film, I think mainly most of it is as it's shown throughout the whole film. I don't think the film is like, so there are theories out there which says the whole film is in Joker's mind and it's all in his head, which I don't really agree with, because it doesn't make sense. Because, for example, if it was all in his head, why would he make up, you know, the Zazie Beetz character as his girlfriend, and then after that, halfway through, then it shows us that she wasn't actually his girlfriend, and that was in his head. So because of that, I don't think the theory of everything in his head holds water. So I don't think that theory holds water. So I don't agree with that one. I think the film did play out as it did, and obviously some parts that were in his head, I think it was quite obvious how they shown that it was in his head. So I think the film's quite linear how it was shown, and I think some viewers probably looked into it a bit too much, and I think some of the theories are a little bit out there, which I don't agree with. But the director has actually said that this film, the way he's filmed it and the way he made the film, was to leave it open, and so the film was open to interpretation of the viewer. So he's not given the definitive answer of what the interpretation of the film should be, and he has said that it's up to the viewer to decide on how they interpret the film. So firstly, let's point out the obvious things that we do know that it's not true. So for example, we do know for fact that the Zazie Beetz character was not his girlfriend, because of the Fight Club type flashback. It does show that she wasn't there with him at the points that it did initially show. So she was in his figment of his imagination, or he imagined of what happened with her, and imagined that she was actually dating him when she wasn't actually there. Another point that's obvious that wasn't real was when he's watching the show with his mum, and he watched it, and then all of a sudden it shows him in the audience of the TV show with Murray, and then after that he stands up and Murray invites him down, and Murray hugs him and said like, I would give up all these lights and fame for a son like you. That was in his head, because obviously he wasn't there at the show. So obviously those 2 points, the 2 points with that one, and also the scenes with his girlfriend, or the Zazie Beetz character, she wasn't there either. Obviously there was a flashback as well to show you that obviously she was not there at the time, and that was just a figment of his imagination, and he was imagining that he was dating her. On the second viewing, I did notice as well, like after when he was stalking the Zazie Beetz character, when she took her kid to school and she went to work, then he started writing on a notepad, and on the notepad he was writing something like, the worst thing about mental illness is people expect you to behave like you don't. But if you look at on the top line of that notepad, he actually says something like, I can't remember exact wording of it, but it's something like, why are poor people always confused because of they don't have 2 cents, or something like that, along the lines of that, something to do with that. And then after that, when he's writing the letter, he's writing at the bottom of it, he's actually writing, the worst thing about having mental illness is people expect you to behave like you don't, and then there's a knock at the door, and then that's when the Zazie Beetz character, which is in his head, knocks on the door, and then she says, "Oh, have you been following me today?" And then he goes, "Yeah," and she goes, "You should have come in and robbed the place," or something along the lines of that. And he says, "Oh, I do have a gun." So from what he written before on this notepad saying about why are poor people confused, and with the Zazie Beetz character telling him or asking him he should have come in and robbed the bank. And then the next scene is he's in the children's hospital performing for the kids, and then that's when the gun drops out. So from that, I do think that at the time he was on the way to rob the bank. I think he was planning to go to the bank and rob the bank with the gun. That's before his gun dropped out of his pants at the children's hospital, and obviously that's when his boss gave him a call and let him know that he's been fired, which led him to go on the train, and then where he met the three guys, which again I think that did happen, and he probably did kill him in self-defense. He didn't plan to do that, but obviously I think the first guy that he shot was from pure self-defense. Then after that, I think that's when he kind of like unleashed the Joker character, or who he actually is. That's when the first time we see him, he run away and he locks himself in the toilet, and he starts doing like a dance. What I did notice is like every time when he did like a dance, most of the time that's when he did something evil. Well, it is evil, but evil, and that's when he actually did something that was himself, the Joker character, and not being suppressed by society of like how he should act, or get suppressed by his medication. I think that was his like primal instinct of the things that he wanted to do. I think that's why a lot of the dance, when he does the dance, most of the time it's like a self-expression of his primal urges or primal instincts of what he wanted to do. I do think that this Joker as well, this Joaquin Phoenix Joker as well, is not the actual Joker that actually ends up with Batman, because the age doesn't line up, because as we saw Bruce in the film, he was quite young. He's like probably about 10, and Joaquin Phoenix Joker in this one, I'm guessing he's about 40. So by the time Bruce turns to Batman when he's like 20, 30, then Joker's going to be about 60, 70. It doesn't line up. What I do believe is this Joker is the inspiration or the start of the movement that actually created someone down the line to become the Joker that actually does face up with the Batman. So I don't think this is the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. In this is actually the Joker that actually does end up going against the Batman. If you watch this film, you know what happens. Because of the riots, the Waynes left the cinema, and then they went down Crime Alley, and then one of the clowns, which wasn't Joaquin Phoenix, killed the Waynes. After when Joker killed Murray, you can see on the cameras, as the camera zoomed out, you can see it all on the news channels, and you can actually see the security guard jump the Joker. And after the next scene, he's in the back of the police car, and the ambulance crashes into him. From there, I do believe that I am a bit undecided. I think it's either when the ambulance crashed into him, he probably got knocked out, or it played out as we saw on screen, where an ambulance did crash into him, and everybody seeing him as like the new savior. So on the first viewing, I was a bit confused on the final scene, because the final scene, what I thought that was a bit confusing, was that obviously you see him dancing on top of the cop car, and then the next scene he's in talking to one of the doctors, and then he starts laughing, and he's just laughing, and then the doctor looks at him saying, "What's so funny?" But on the first viewing, I did actually have in my head that he was going to look up to her and said, "Why so serious?" Which would have been awesome. Obviously, that would be a nod of the hat to the Heath Ledger Joker, but obviously he didn't say that. He just laughs, and there's a flash of the Waynes in the alleyway, and then he says, "You just won't get it." Then the next scene, you see him walking out of the out of the office with blood on his feet, and he's leaving a trail of blood. If you look at the window does look like it's like a ray of light. It looks quite dreamy, and everything looks quite pristine. And then the one the orderlies or stewards are trying to chase him. So in the first viewing, I did find that quite confusing, but on the second viewing, I think it was so much more clearer actually, and it's quite obvious. It was not as complicated as a lot of theorists are thinking. Well, that's my interpretation anyway. From the second viewing, I did find that scene was actually quite obvious. So basically, how I interpret it is like the next scene when he's in the hospital and he's talking to one of the doctors. So basically, he's been arrested. So he's been arrested and he's been put into the hospital. And they're talking to him, and he's laughing because he's thinking of something. And then on the first viewing, what confused me when it showed a flash of the Waynes, because obviously he isn't the one that actually killed the Waynes, so how would he know about it? But now thinking about it, like, the Waynes are a well-known family, and well-known and respected family, so the murder of them would be pretty common knowledge. I think it'd be all of the news and media which he would have heard about. So I think what the final joke was, well, it wasn't really a joke, but the main reason why he's laughing as well was because the director has actually said that throughout the whole film, the only genuine laugh from Joker is actually from this one scene. And my interpretation of the last scene and the final joke was simply that the same joke what he said to Murray before he killed Murray. I'm paraphrasing here. So basically, is what you get if you cross a mentally ill patient that comes across society that treats him like trash. And it's you get what you deserve. So he's laughing because he thinks that everyone's got what they deserve. So basically, it's like Murray, the character, he got what he deserved because he got killed because he was basically the main reason why he invited him to the show was to basically mock him. It wasn't because of his goodness of his own heart. He just wanted him on the show to mock him. Thomas Wayne got killed, or the Waynes got killed. Thomas and Martha Wayne got killed because how he treated his mother. So he got what he deserved. He also, the people like in the train, the three guys, they got what they deserved. So from in his eyes, he believes everyone got killed because they got what they deserved. That's what they deserved. And what he finds so funny is and this is what he deserves. So he's actually off his medication now. He's actually himself. This is the first time that he's not being trodden on. He's not trying to act in a specific way to conform with society, and that he's not being suppressed by his medication, and he's being hailed a hero. So in his eyes, that's what's so funny, is because everyone got what they deserved, and that he has got what he deserved because basically he's no longer suppressed by his medication. He's actually free from society and how they treat him, and he's been hailed a hero. So that's my interpretation of the final joke and the final scene. So let me know what you think about that, guys. So if you like this video, click on the like button. Let me know about your thoughts and theories about the Joker, and specifically the last scene as well. You haven't subscribed to my channel yet, click on the subscribe button. And as always, guys, see you guys soon, and ciao for now.